you first get into promoting? What was the path that led you into that?
Well, briefly, when I was a kid, that I always wanted to be a filmmaker and into special effects. I wanted to be a special effects artist when I was a kid, and I mean real young. So I made movies when I was in the 7th and 8th grade instead of book reports. The teachers let me, so I got A's in my book reports, and they showed it to the whole class. So I got bit by the bug. And as I got older, I wanted to be an artist, so I was looking for ways for my creative outlet to work, but I didn't want to starve. And unfortunately, that was probably a bad move of mine because I went into business when I was 18, and my father kind of encouraged me with the old adage, son, get a real job. You'll never make it as an artist. You can't make any money. So I did, and when I became a business owner, my wife and I traveled across country. We were able to live in various cities. I helped put together a couple of film festivals in upstate New York. We had Milos Forman, director of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and we had quite a few other celebrities. That Kevin Bacon was on our board. So I got to work with those. When I moved back, I'd always wanted to have a big event. So 6 years ago, I started off with a film festival, and it grew into a convention and just grew rapidly. And I've always tried to keep the independent filmmaker in my mind. I've always tried to do things for them. I've always tried to make it accessible for them and help them to market and promote, because I love to promote for other people. I love to build things up. And it just turned into this. It just kept going along, gotten bigger. And, honestly, I always tell people I could have financed 2 independent films for the money I put into this, because you don't do this for money, because, this is not a big money maker. People look at it and think it is, but they don't realize you spend $70,000 and, you put this stuff up. And, we've lost money some years, and we made money, but my feeling has always been for the filmmakers, for the fans, and what I do with this whole team that I have is if I can break even, or if I can do a whole year's worth of work and make $1,000 so I can take some of the volunteers out and we've had a good show, that's what I care about. So what I've done now is I own a couple of shows. Louisville's the big show, but I've got a couple of smaller shows, and then I have some of these shows with a business partner of mine. So I'm going to add one more show to my stable in a whole different state. And the reason why I'm doing that is because my partner and I, business partner and I, we want to have, his name is Mark Ballard. He runs a Nashville horror and comic show. And what he's done and what I've done is we want to give people in cities that don't get some of this a small taste of it at an affordable price. Like in some of our cities, the entry fee is $5 to come to the show, and we'll bring three or four celebrities, and there will be 40 vendors. There will be 1,000 people. I mean, it won't be 5,000 or 7,000, but 1,000 dedicated fans, and they love it. So we do Cincinnati. We've got Metropolis, Illinois. I'm working with them on Knoxville. Work with my partner on Nashville, and I've got one more state that I don't want to mention just yet, but I'll mention soon. And by the way, where are you guys based out of? North Carolina, is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, North Carolina. We're near Charlotte. And it's
actually, we're looking.
If you want to expand
we're
down
we're
here.
actually looking at North Carolina. We're looking at North Carolina for something. I want to do something there because I think horror is great. And what people have to understand is what we do. There's a lot of horror that popped up after I started mine first. Okay, because I was the first in this region, other than the one in Cleveland, and then there was one in Nashville. So one in Cleveland, one in Nashville. Now there's, going to be 2 or 3 in Indy. There's one in Cincy. There's one in Lexington. And each one's different. The ones that I really enjoy are the ones that bring in different people. And we try to really do that. And we really, really try to give you guys people that you won't see elsewhere. Like I recently have had a lot of fans email me and say, why don't you get victims that no other show will bring in? And it's not a bad idea to bring in certain victims, as long as, it comes from one show, like let's say Nightmare, okay, and you want to get 5 victims from there, or Friday the 13th, or let's say you go back to, Halloween, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whichever one you want to get, and if you want to get all the ones from part 4, then you go for it, and those can be unusual. Like I don't know, you guys did. I don't know if you were aware of it, but 2 years ago we had Danny Lloyd from The Shining. He has never done a show since, and I call him all the time, and he doesn't want to do a show. It's not his thing. But we had guys come from New York and Chicago and Canada. I mean, and they brought a lot of stuff.
Right.
And they said, we always keep up on your show. They say we don't always come, but you guys bring unique people even over the shows on the East Coast. So we always watch your show. So hopefully you guys, the Mutantville fans, appreciate that, because we want you guys to come up, but we don't want to just have it in a convention hall, you guys, where you can't sit back and drink a little bit and hang out. And it's about the partying, but it's not always about the partying. For me, it's about if I can hang with you guys and we can talk for an hour at just a relaxed pace about what we loved and laugh, then it becomes our church. And that's what I want people to get out. It's like a gathering. I want this to be called the gathering for all of you guys, not just horror, but for, like, we've got Revenge of the Nerds this year. We're real excited about the first time outside of LA area that they'll be at our show. And we're going after a few more, and then we're getting more horror guests, because I had somebody mention that today about, bring in more horror. And I said, we got 5.5 months. We got plenty of time. We're still working on it.
Right.
I mean, I can't, I don't want to use a term that's kind of, I don't want to blow my lid or blow my wad too soon, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
You've got to entice people to keep coming back and check. So we've got plenty of time, and we've got some really good guests. And if one or two of these pop up, it'll make people just freak out, because like we were going to bring in Robert Englund, and we really wanted to bring him in. Unfortunately, his agent kind of did some, it wasn't really the best situation, and the agent really wasn't pliable to work with after we had everything agreed to. And we love Robert. He's a great guy. He really is. But Robert is on the circuit a lot. And if he's on the circuit, I can tell you this myself. Robert has been on the circuit 9 times in the past 12 months. Now, 9 shows, it's the law of economics. It's supply and demand. If you do that, nobody wants you. Well, I've got one that never been out hardly anywhere, 1 show. Those are the people you want, because you never know if they're going to come back out, because they don't do shows that often. But Robert, since he's no longer Freddy, even though he will be the perpetual Freddy to people, he will. Right. They're going to go on without him. They're going to make 5, 6, 7 more. He's not going to be it. So he's not getting the major roles he once did. He's a great guy, and he's a great actor. But I don't want to bring in. I want to bring them in, but I don't want to just bring them in. So, like for your people, please, all the Mutantville people, email us, or rather Facebook us. Tell us who you guys want to see. But, give me some originality. Don't give me people we've had, especially, because people don't pay attention. I'm going to put a list up there. We've already had them. Okay?